name's Eva and welcome to this channel. Today I have an extra special guest here, which you can tell. This is my lovely friend Shayna. Do you want to introduce yourself and your pronouns and what you do?
Sure. So my name is Shayna Skakoon-Sparling. I have a PhD in applied social psychology, and I do a lot of research talking about condom use and condom negotiation and how do people make decisions about their sexual health, what kinds of rules do they follow, what kinds of rules do they set for themselves. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
Yeah, I also use she and her pronouns. But you can probably guess from Shayna's little summary of what she does. So we're going to be talking about some really cool science that can hack the mental gymnastics that you do in your brain that prevents you from using a condom. So even if you're super sex positive, you know that you should be using a condom, your brain can mess you up.
It's true.
So first we're going to talk about some of the things that your brain does to convince you to not use a condom. So the first one is arousal.
It shifts your motivations from a perspective where you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about what are my goals, what are going to be the future consequences of what I'm doing.
And maybe you don't want to get pregnant, and maybe you don't want to get an STI.
People don't want to think about that. They just want to feel swept up in the moment and they just want to have a fun time. Like in the movies.
Still isn't over.
But life isn't like in the movies because we've got a lot of messy, real-life human things that can happen.
Okay, so there's sexual arousal. What about partner familiarity?
Partner familiarity is an important one. Partner familiarity can really trip us up because we want to feel like this person that we think we know, that they trust that they don't have an STI.
Yeah.
You might feel like you know somebody and trust them, but you don't actually know their sexual health history, so you don't actually know the right kind of information to make that decision. People think that they'll be able to tell that somebody else has an STI just by looking at them. Because we all saw in sex ed, you get shown the pictures of like, these are the horrible welts you'll get, but it doesn't always look like that. Some people don't have very visible symptoms.
Surprisingly, the only way you can know if somebody has an STI is if you all get tested together.
And are honest with each other about your test results.
Yeah. Third thing is relationship motivation.
And it turns out that for some people, really wanting to be in a relationship with somebody means that they're more likely to agree to not use a condom if that person really doesn't want to use a condom. Or they're more likely to be more nervous about suggesting a condom if they're not sure how that person's going to react. And part of that comes from some of the judgments that we put on what asking to use a condom means. Sometimes people think that asking to use a condom is going to make that person think that I think they're very promiscuous, or I think they're dirty, or that I'm promiscuous and I'm having casual sex all the time, and so that's why I have a string of condoms in my bag. Instead, like, erase all that, just take it away. And asking to use a condom means that I care about my health and I care about your health. And it's about taking care of both of us. That kind of brings us into like some of the solutions for these messed up mind games. Changing your perspective on condom use, that can really help with not wanting to think about icky future negative things when you're sexually aroused and you want to just enjoy the moment. If you see condoms, using condoms as like, okay, we're using a condom, I don't need to worry about any of that, now I can really relax and really have a fun time, then that's a really good reason to use condoms. And you can get really fun and exciting condoms that are exciting to try with your partner. They make a lot of really different kinds of condoms now that have like different textures, different fits, and you could be like, oh, but I got this new kind and I really want to see what the texture feels like. Could we please try this?
Another tip, which is to make an explicit contract with yourself. So putting it in your bio can be one way to do that. Also, I think I might make some templates for sexual health contracts. So you can like write down like, I pledged myself I'm gonna do these things.
Changing your heuristics, changing your rules. Instead of your rule being like, oh, if I feel like I know that person, then we don't have a condom, it's fine. Instead, if your rule is until we get an STI test together and have a monogamy agreement, we're just gonna use condoms, then condoms becomes part of your routine. You need a little bag. You need something fancy like that. And it's loaded up with the condoms and lube. You've checked the expiry dates, maybe some sex toys, and that's just what you bring.
Do you want to meet up this week?
Tonight, your house. I'll bring the condoms, you bring the lube.
No.
talk about things beforehand. Get it all set up beforehand so you don't need to think about it then. Like if you're meeting a Tinder date, like message them like, hey, are you bringing condoms? Or like, hey, I just bought some really cool condoms. I'm excited to use them with you. It can be one of the benefits of technology because it can be less scary to like have those conversations.
Yes. It like gives you a chance to ask a question that feels awkward to ask.
Keep your friends accountable. You can talk to the friends that you talk to about sexual health stuff about this. My favorite thing that Shayna said is that every time your friend has a hookup, you can be like, hey, how was your hookup? Did you use a condom? Like semi-jokingly, but just keep doing it.
And then eventually they'll be like, oh shit, Eva's gonna ask me, so I should probably use a condom tonight because I don't have to lie to her again. Like, okay.
One of my favorite things too is like following sex ed social media people who have these open conversations. So if you don't have friends that you can talk to about this stuff, or you just kind of want to keep those conversations in your head and like kind of normalize that for you, I love What's Wrong with My Vagina and Gab Alexa and Kate Sloan, Girly Juice. I will link a bunch of people in the description.
And talking to your friends about their sexual safety and their sexual health habits and your sexual health habits also does a lot to destigmatize doing that kind of thing.
So those are all of our tips for how to hack your brain to make sure that you're using a condom more regularly. Again, even if you're super sex positive and are really dedicated to using a condom, your brain will try and trick you out of it. So hopefully some of these tips will have been helpful for you. Thank you so much, Shayna, for being here on the channel.
Thanks for having me. It was so fun.
Yay! Oh, guys, tell me if you want Shayna to come back. She's just so full of a wealth of knowledge that I just want all of you guys to get. I'll link all of her stuff in the description. I'm gonna follow her on Twitter for some good quality tweets and read all of her papers. But yeah, have a lovely day. I think it can be fun because I'm a big sex nerd, and hopefully the person I'm sleeping with is also a big sex nerd, so you kind of get to have a nerdy conversation about sexual health, and hopefully they can like flex on how much they know, and you can be like, wow, look at them taking care of this. It sounds silly, but honestly, like someone who takes care of their sexual health is like totally someone that you're more inclined to have sex with.